Hello. Oh, this is my Garmin InReach. I was putting it outside to get signal to send some text messages, but now I have signal. My cell booster is. It's weird how cell signals like come and go. It seems like if the weather's clear, they would just stay the same. But so we did it. We did Barradur. 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 I am so fucking cooked, man. That was great. That was absolutely great. I'm so glad to be in a time in my life where I can kind of suck at a rock climb and still feel like super good afterwards, or even really during. I was pretty scared. So things like it's got a 10 plus pitch and 11 plus pitch, and they both feature these pretty fucking exciting traverses. And I had the 10 plus pitch. I fell on the first pitch, which is like 5'8" or 5'9" or something. I don't know. It all kind of blurs together. Let's just call it 5'9". Let me say it's 5'9". And okay, we got some beef. We got some veggies. Throw a little potatoes. Heavily salted. Before I even left the fucking ground, started cramping. I've been cramping like crazy in my forearms lately. Like just doing random stuff. I'm worried I have like MS or something. This might be some series about a guy who discovers slowly he has MS. I don't know. I'm always paranoid about shit, but I think it is probably because the last month has been kind of traumatic. All of my own creation, but oh man, I didn't bring the lid. I have this big cast iron here, and it'd be really nice to have my lid, because these veggies, my refrigerator is freezing stuff. The thermostat's fucked up on it, so it's like running like, it always thinks it's like 90 degrees in the refrigerator for some reason. So yeah, I need to fix that. But anyway, it was beautiful. I'll post some videos from it, but basically, yeah, first pitch I broke a hold. So can you see it from here? There it is. That's Wolf Rock. That is not where we were. Wow. That is not where we were climbing. That is just like some feature on it. But it's a big, I think it's like a 800-foot something. I think volcanic butt plug or something like that. And it is you know, it's Oregon choss, but it's definitely beautiful. I mean, it's kind of wild, like when you to just sort of see it, you know, and imagine like if you were an indigenous person here, or you were like a Western settler and you saw that for the first time. Although I guess if you came across like the Oregon Trail and you just come from the Rockies, you'd be like, well. But even then, like even just sort of looking at it on its own terms, it is impressive in its own right, as they say. There's, and there it is. It's just that's a pretty big. When you think about, here's the ground, there's the mountain. That's 8. I think it's like 800 feet. It's like 8 pitches. We linked the first pitch, and then it's like you do. There's something like 5'8", 5'9", 5'9", like 5'4", 5'9", 10 plus, 11 plus, 250 feet of low fourth class, and then several hundred feet of like fourth class to a summit. And pretty much all of that, blessedly, except for the hardest climbing, is pretty garbage rock. I mean, it's not like freak show, like it's not like I've never climbed in the Fisher Towers, but it's not like, but I've climbed in Sedona a lot. It's not like Sedona. I mean, well, actually, it sort of is like Sedona. It's actually, now that I see that, it's actually a lot like Sedona, because Sedona has some bomber rock. It has some like really, really good rock. It's climbing at Sedona is kind of like, you know, dealing with like a really kind of fucked up person who, you know, like some people, this term gets thrown around a lot, but like personality disorders, it's like people who are like hot and cold. They're like wonderful and lovely, and then they're just like just horrible monsters with you all of a sudden out of kind of nowhere. That's kind of like what Sedona's like. This isn't that bad. This is more like, it's kind of like a lot of Pacific Northwestern people in my experience in general. It's just like kind of salty the whole time, and then sometimes like super fun. It's like, yeah. So, but anyway, I the last month has been really rough, and I've been like just like chugging Zins, so I'm like super overloaded on nicotine, and I've been just like walking and running like crazy, and climbing in the gym, and haven't been able to sleep. So I'm probably sleeping like 5 to 6 hours a night, like doing like double sixer Zins, which is bananas, just chain zinning, knocking enough, and which is an appetite suppressant, knocking, and then I've also had like, I think it's getting better, but I don't know if I was sick or had allergies or something, but I was like super boogery and congested. Actually, it's getting a lot better now that I think about it. I don't know if I had who knows, but I was taking Dayquil, so I have like Sudafed. It's like Sudafed and nicotine, and I also drink a lot of coffee, and then I'm just like, you know, trying to get 10,000 steps a day and just trying to outrun my thoughts. But I've also been meditating. I've also been connecting with friends. I've been trying to do the healthy things, you know, too. But just my way is to move. That is my way. I respect that. I think that is good. But if you move, you must also eat. You must also drink, and you must get salt. And I think I've been not getting enough of that. So like the first pitch, I started cramping, and then the first crux pitch is like 10 plus. Oh my god! It was just. I don't generally feel like super bothered by exposure, but traverses are so scary. And you do this traverse, and to get into the crux is like supposed to be like 10 plus. I wouldn't lie. I wouldn't argue if someone told me it was 11A. It was 11A somewhere else. Probably just because I didn't have the moves right. It's whatever. It's 10 plus. So it's a suspicious grade. And then you're on this like tiny crimp on this like sloping windowsill, and you have to step onto this like off camber foot around the corner, and then reach to this like off camber edge around the corner. This like shitty like weird Gaston thing. And it was supposedly only 72 degrees today, but which is too hot to be climbing in the sun for me. And I'm wearing a sun shirt because I don't want to get a fucking sunburn. So I'm just like fucking, and I switched to a t-shirt because I was just fucking roasting up there. And I'm roasting and cramping. And I fucking pitched off. And so I'm hanging like, and then it's awkward for the belayer, you know, so they got kind of pulled into the anchor. So I thought I pulled out a bolt, because the first two bolts you clip are just these terrible old SMC like museum pieces, which I don't know. Yeah, whatever. Unfortunately, the crux bolt is good. It looks like a new, like, Powers, like 5-piece expansion bolt, I think is what it was. And so the gear is fine. I wasn't like worried about the gear pulling, but like I fell and then I fell again, and I thought that the bolt had pulled out the other bolt, not the bolt obviously that I was on, because that would have been really bad. Because then I would have pendulumed into this big fucking corner. But I'm just like, you're at that point you're 600 feet off the ground, and I was like, I had the forethought to like start swinging and push, so I could get into the wall. I fall out of the van. It'd be funny if I finished that fucking thing, plus the descent, I break my arm falling out of the van, retelling the tale. But fortunately, I don't know whether it's there exactly for this reason, but there's like 2 ancient bolts. They're the weird bolts that look like, or the bolt hangers that look like pull tabs on old soda cans, like it's like a circle, like 2 circles. It's like a snowman sort of bent in half is what they look like. So fortunately it was one of those. I clipped into so I had the fucking, and fortunately I've been carrying my micro traction on multi-pitch climbing, just to have it for jugging and for self-rescue and for various other things. So fortunately I had that, and I ascended the rope, and it wasn't like a huge hassle, but it's tiring. And I was just like cramping, my abdomen was cramping while I was doing it. And then I just like aided around the corner, but then it's not over. Then it's like sort of like 5'9" up a corner. And there's like a corner with a block in it, like this rattly block. And so I placed like a number 2 Camelot and a 0.5 on the other side of it, so that the block to hold the block in. So the block is kind of part of my protection. And you finally get to the fucking anchor. It's a short pitch. All the other pitches were pretty long, but that was short. And I belayed my partner around, and because I was gripped, I didn't extend the gold Camelot enough, so it kind of walked. And eventually they got it out, but I felt like a dick for doing that. And the only thing we forgot was a nut tool. I was responsible for the rack, which to me means I was responsible for the nut tool. So that all that happened. It was pretty good. Pretty good day. It was good. We did that. Oh yeah, and then we did the 511 pitch. And the 511, I thought the crux, I'm kind of glad I guess I'm glad it wasn't. I guess I'm glad it wasn't, because the crux was this really fucking steep section where you grab this like horn, like you lie back up this corner, you clip some, museum piece bolt, you get some weird dirty gear in, and then you kind of like mantle lie back up this blob, and then you stand on it and you drop your knee and kind of like hide in this corner before you start doing the traverse. And then you get some good gear in finally. But Vanya did that. And I was doing that and was like in the lie back, and I went to I was cleaning a piece, and I was just like gripping the carabiner to open the gate. My hands started cramping. I was like, I'm gonna drop this fucking thing. I like grabbed it into my teeth and took a hand and like pressed it into my leg to like press out the cramp in my hand. And I put it on there, and then I kept trying to do it, and I just kept fucking cramping. And then this hand, it's weird, if I was actually gripping, I wasn't cramping, but it was like managing the rope and opening carabiners, my hand would cramp. So I decided, I'll just aid through this. And I haven't aid climbed since, I think the last wall I did was in Zion like 20 years ago. I did Space Shot. I've never done any serious aid. And obviously I don't have like an aid rack or aiders or hooks, which is what you would need to aid through this. Or like beaks or something. So I'm like I'm like fucking hero stepping on this bolt to try to clip the next, and then my abdomen starts cramping. And I'm the follower, so I have the pack on. So I'm like, I clip that, and Vanya, the patience of a fucking Zen Buddhist. We have Rocky Talkies, which is awesome. It was fucking rad. I used to think, oh, stupid old new bro, but it's so much better. And she's like, they're like around the corner, so yeah, it's so much better. It's like, hey, I'm doing good. I'm just eating this stuff. I'm like, okay, no problem. Take your time. And yeah, so it's a fucking process. It's a fucking process. And thank the thank the wood gods, the wood spirits. The actual traverse is pretty easy. I mean, not easy, but it was certainly easier than the 5.9 traverse. Like, because you're like on a rail, you have actual good feet, and you reach around the corner, there's an actual hold, and you have some actual feet. So that was probably like 5.10. And then you step around the corner, then it's like 5.6 or something. And then it was like 250 feet of what I actually needed, which was just like flowy. Well, the first 100 feet of it was actually pretty scary, but it was easy, you know. So it was nice because I could feel, I kind of restored my sense of like competency as a climber. You know, it's like, okay, this is like 5.4x, but it's nice to know I can climb that. It's nice to, you know, feel like, oh, I can actually do, actually do something. On the first pitch, I fell because I broke a hold because I got off route. So I just fell all over that thing. But it felt really nice to be like, oh, here I am in terrain where I can't fall, but I'm not going to fall. And to feel like, oh, I kind of have, now I have my shit together. And then we simuled and we used the micro traction to protect the leader from the second falling. And then you do a bunch of soloing after that, or we did a bunch of like fourth class. A bunch of soloing to get to the actual summit, sign the register, and then proceeded to do the descent, which I did in like 2022 is what a mountain project says. And I didn't remember it being such an ass kicker, but I guess I'm just so fatigued. So we did it. We didn't have any wrong turns. I had to backtrack a little bit. We probably had to backtrack to like 1,000 feet on just like trash, but everything else was pretty good. And now we're kind of having the moves like more fresh in my mind. I would get on it again. I need to like fix. It's just stupid because I'm not working right now, so there's like zero reason for me to not be sleeping. Well, that's obviously I'm not sleeping because I'm not working, but it's just so silly to have. Like, yeah, I just need to fix that. So, and the eating and the drinking and the, yeah, I need to eat and drink and sleep. Like Maslow's hierarchy, man. I have been connecting with people though. That's been like, and I've been being active, so that's good. But those are both energy consuming things, and I'm not consuming energy. So anyway, long ass motherfucking message. This is 18 minutes. No one's gonna watch this, but that's okay. This is me just figuring my shit out into the void. Shoebugs. Now I will eat beef and vegetables and potatoes.